You see, for decades, homeownership was the unified Canadian and American dream. Everyone wanted to own a home. It was also the government's promise to its people. If you work hard, you'll be rewarded. But somewhere down the line, it wasn't just about having a roof over your head anymore. It became a symbol of success and stability and even status. And because of that, and probably due to the recent impacts of mass inflation, people started to believe that owning a home should be their main investment. Go buy a home, it's the best investment you can make. You've probably heard that before. But I'm here to tell you that in 2025, if you treat your home as your main investment vehicle, that's exactly what's going to hurt you financially. And I know what you're thinking, Alex, you're a realtor and you're saying this? Listen, I know it's crazy, but I've built my business on honesty and transparency the whole way through. I believe that if you have good intentions, then you truly have nothing to hide. That's exactly why I'm here telling you the truth in this video, and I do this in every other one of my videos. Of course, I'm still working with buyers and sellers in the real estate market, but just pay attention to this video. It's not going to take long, but I'm going to explain to you why buying a home in 2025 is not a good investment. From the 1970s to the early 2000s, homeowners made incredible returns, and that trend has continued since then. Let's take Ottawa, for example. The average home price was about $159,000 in 2000, compared to just over $685,000 in 2025. Prices have more than quadrupled. Why? Well, there's a few things that you could say, but it all comes back to cheap money. If inflation's low, interest rates are low. They had much lower interest rates. Money was a lot cheaper. Your dollar could purchase a lot more than it can today. And now that environment is gone. Money is the most expensive that it has ever been. And governments know that home affordability is broken. And the response is, well, there's a few responses out there. There's a few ideas out there, but the only moral and consistent answer is that we need to build more homes. But it's not just that simple, and for many reasons. Flooding the market with too many homes will just drive up material costs, leading to an overall more expensive project for builders. So builders are going to want to sell at higher prices. But then we would also see a huge spike in supply in the housing market. Well, the fundamentals of economics teach us that a large increase in supply, while demand holds constant, means prices will go down. I mean, think about it. Buyers are just going to have a lot more options to choose from. Houses are going to be listed for longer periods of time, and sellers will just eventually drop their prices just to compete, just to sell their home. So even with the higher costs for builders, they wouldn't even be able to raise the prices of new builds because they just simply won't sell. So the government has a pretty big challenge. They have to find a way to increase the supply of homes without significantly disrupting, one, the price of building materials, and two, the current home prices. Let's just say they implemented this solution to the building materials problem and they decided to just build new homes like crazy. Now, everyone's homes are going to reduce in value. Remember what I said earlier? Homes will become less scarce. Everybody loses. You, the banks, future buyers, even renters, believe it or not. Everyone's going to lose from this. That would ultimately lead to a pretty catastrophic environment where prices are going down, but so is demand. And that would lead to something very, very bad. But listen, regardless of how they do it, just know that there's a lot of houses on the way. We all know that. Canada has committed to building 3.9 million homes by 2031 just to restore affordability levels. But here's the problem. New builds take years to approve, finance, and construct. And by the time they hit the market, developers need to keep prices competitive. And to do that, they cut corners. They build these cheap, bland, cookie cutter homes. This is shrinkflation, but in housing. Just like food companies are going to lower the quality or the package size without raising the price so that consumers are still buying into their products, builders are going to reduce quality in order to reduce costs without actually having the need to increase prices. Harvard Business Review covers this topic in depth, and so do many other academic reports. Shrinkflation, where you're actually reducing the quality and keeping the same price rather than increasing the price to maintain quality. What's super evil about this is it's actually a way to hide inflation, because the way that we calculate inflation is through the consumer price index. The consumer price index just measures the change of price over a period of time. Well, in this case, the price is not actually changing. And that's what the consumer price index looks at. It's not looking at the quantity of a single good. It's just looking at the price of that good. It's still inflation. It's still less purchasing power for your money. You just won't see it when the CPI report comes out at the end of the month. That's why I like to call this the inflation by stealth. Consumers hate price hikes more than subtle quality cuts, so businesses choose to do the cuts. Have you ever been inside a brand new build in 2025 and then maybe also saw a build, let's say 5 years ago, same layout, maybe even the same builder? The difference is shocking. Maybe you haven't seen it because, let's be real, you probably don't go visit many houses, but I do, and I can tell you what I see. The difference is shocking. Everything got cheaper. And you know what? That can be said for many things that were built over time, not just homes. Take the wood planks, for example. A 2x4 is not actually 2 inches by 4 inches anymore, although it used to be. What's the common pattern here? It's inflation. Money was cheaper back then. Today it is not. Money is the most expensive that it has ever been. And the more inflation rises, the more cost builders will incur. Lumber, drywall, electrical, labor, everything goes up. But since buyers are not going to swallow drastically higher sticker prices, builders make up the difference by dialing down the quality. Just to dial it back a little bit, supply is coming. More supply is on the way, we all know that. Don't just think that by buying a home that you're going to double and triple in value just like your parents' homes did, because I'm telling you those days are over. Although it will happen in certain conditions in certain markets where your home will go up in value. But that's also the case with any reasonably sound investment. Another reason homes are bad investments are the costs associated with purchasing and maintaining a home. You need to understand that you're taking on a significant amount of debt in order to purchase this property, right? And you're also committing yourself to massive operating costs every single year. Again, let's look at Ottawa, for example. Property taxes in Ottawa for the average home in Ottawa ranges between $4,000 to $6,000 per year. Insurance is roughly $1,800 a year. And the maintenance rule of thumb is 1% of your home's value per year. So example, on a $600,000 house, that's about $6,000 per year. Maintaining the property and the property's value requires doing updates. So updating is also part of maintaining. Maintenance is not optional. If you want your property to hold its value, you have to invest in updating and maintaining it. And then when you add all that up, that so-called appreciation is just getting eaten up by all the costs that are associated with it. Imagine any other investment where you just keep having to invest thousands and thousands more every single year just to maintain it, just to hold that investment. Would you still call that an investment? Now, this is the real trap for most people, okay? The real trap for most people is when they are told or they believe that they need to buy a home for whatever reason. Maybe they've heard or they know that, buying is better than renting because you're able to build equity over time. And that's true, by the way. That's true, okay? Buying a house will build more equity over time, over long periods of time, than renting a house over long periods of time. That is true. Because if it wasn't true, then there wouldn't be any landlords doing it. What would be the point if they're losing? But the trap comes when people start buying their homes as an investment. So when people buy their principal residence or their home, their place that they call a home, and they treat that as their full-on investment, their retirement plan, that is where you're setting yourself up for failure. Because that's exactly when people overextend themselves with huge mortgages, purchasing homes that they cannot afford. And if too many people do this, well, that's enough to crash an entire market, right? 2008, my US friends, they rely on appreciation instead of saving or investing. And they ignore real wealth building tools like index funds, which have been around and have had historically returned about 7 to 10% annually without any maintenance or repairs or property tax or insurance or other operating costs. So no, your house is not your retirement plan. It's not your fastest path to wealth. Your home is definitely an investment. Don't get me wrong. You should still invest in updating it and maintaining it, but don't think that just because you're buying a home that you're going to be wealthy. Yes, properties have gone up in value a lot in the last few years. And don't just think that because you're buying a home now that you're safe and that trend will continue. Buying a home in 2025 is not a good investment. In fact, that's the problem, right? You should not ever buy a home with the sole intention of it being your investment. So if a home is not an investment, then what is it? A home is a home. It's a place to live. It's the place to build your roots, to grow your family, to, have people over for Christmas, go home after work. It's a place to sleep. It's a place to rest. Your home is your home. It's a lifestyle choice, okay? It is not an investment vehicle that's going to make you rich. You see, buying a home or other real estate properties it's like placing a hedge against inflation. Essentially, you would benefit from inflation. Buy a home because you want to live in it, not because you expect it to make you rich. And the sooner that you shift your mindset from this house will make me rich to this house will make me happy, the sooner you'll stop making financially insane decisions. If you want investments, then buy actual assets. Now, don't get me wrong, real estate can be a fantastic investment, and I love real estate. Example, a duplex, live on one side, rent out the other. That can be a good investment. Another example, you found a fixer-upper at a great price, and you can even make that your home one day, right? But you had the intent of finding a fixer-upper at a great price, and you renovate it, you flip it, you can then refinance it, you can sell it at a gain, you can do whatever you want. That can be a good investment. Another example is a multiplex, where all the rent income is covering all your expenses, plus it's giving you a net positive cash flow. That can also be a great investment. But don't confuse those with the house that you raise your family in, because your home is your home. So again, I want to emphasize that the whole problem that I'm trying to highlight in this video is that there are people out there that are told that you need to go buy a house. It's better than renting. You're throwing money away. Renting, you are throwing money away, but don't just buy a house as an investment. I'm telling you, don't buy a house with the sole intention that it is an investment and this thing is going to make you rich. That's not what home ownership is about. You'll never become rich in real estate by buying a home. Don't ever buy a home thinking that it's just going to secure your retirement, because trust me, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let's just say your home does go up in value and then you want to sell to cash in. Where are you going to live now? All the other properties have also gone up in value. That's why your home should be seen for what it truly is, which is a home. So your home is not a retirement plan. It's not an investment strategy. Okay, you're setting yourself up for failure. Wealth is built through assets that actually grow. A house, that's where you live your life. I have no idea where people picked up this idea that you just have to buy a home in order to be wealthy. It's not true at all. It's not true at all. We have to stop treating a house like a stock, because a home is a lifestyle choice. That's what it is. So if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. I would truly, truly appreciate it. Plus, you'll be notified of my future uploads once they're posted. So it's a win-win for both of us. So thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.